Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy! Today we have Plum. It did come to us from our friend Tuffy Marginez. Here's what I've done. The 2.5 inch Forstner bit hole, the 3.5 inch hole to provide clearance for my chuck body. These are the chuck jaws. This is the woodworm screw. And when the bark sticks up way high and the front of the jaws want to sit right here, which is where they belong, when the bark is up high, it'll hit this body before the chuck jaws ever get to here. So that's why I have to drill an extra clearance hole. And sometimes that's not enough because this is a 4-inch body, but as long as it seats before we get to that body, we'll be in good shape. I've stressed this before because people have trouble with woodworm screws. I'm applying a lot of pressure that direction as I screw it on. If you don't apply that pressure, you'll just strip out the hole. And you only need to do it about halfway on, something like that. Now I can just go ahead and screw it on. I think I'm just going to make it. Okay, we're good. The piece is about 9 inches long, 8 inches wide, 3 inches high on this end, and 4 inches high on this end. We're going to be turning at 550 RPM with a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. I'm going to wear a glove because sure enough this is going to hurt coming off of here at this angle. Mask and face shield on. Well, I'm getting up into this bark sooner than I wanted to, or sooner than I thought I would. So I'm going to approach from this direction instead. And the idea is to keep that bark on there. If I go this way, I'm going to lift it right off. So I'm going to approach from the top side down. Boy, that's going to be pretty, isn't it? I haven't determined a shape for this yet. Well, the shape is forming. Don't know if it's a good shape, but it's forming. Okay, we're rid of all the flat spots. I'm going to work on rounding over this corner up here. I've been doing it, but I need a little different angle for that. Well, it's not half bad. The problem is this end is way rounder than this end is. I could make them match, but then I'd have to take so much off of here to do that. I don't know that it's that important. Yeah, I think I can live with that. Well, I'm going to leave that for a bit and come down here to the bottom. I have to decide what we're going to do about this, if anything. I'm not sure. I need to flatten the bottom off anyway, so we'll see what happens with it. Yeah, I don't mind leaving it. It's minimal now. I suppose I could make that base a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'll get you a different angle here in a minute. This is pretty smooth, but this up here is not. With that last cut I made, I noticed a strange sound, so I stopped it, took a look, and this whole piece here was cracked. So I put some CA in there, and this piece of bark was loose, so I glued that in. And you can see how rough my cut is up here, so I need to smooth that out. And that's next. Oh, got it. And that side's good. The profile's done. Now I just need to work on the bottom, get a tenon on there, and a base. We'll just go ahead and mark out for the tenon. And for those that don't know, most everyone does know by now, I think. If you have a live center like this, you can just lay your pencil on there, and that'll get you real close to either a tenon or a recess. Tenon requires slightly smaller than this, and a recess slightly larger, like an 1/8 of an inch either way. And I'm using a 3/8 inch bowl gouge to create the tenon. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use this diamond point tool to square up the sides of the tenon. That's good. Time for sanding. I'm going to go ahead and sand some of the bark, and I'm going to use my Sandoflex for that. I don't plan on putting any finish on the bark except on this edge right here. I don't plan on finishing up this way until we get to the top. But I do want it to be smoothed out. It's quite rough, quite sharp. And then I will be using a 2-inch sanding disc starting at 80 grit and working up through 400, and I'll show you both of those as soon as I get my mask on. And I'm sure I'll also sand some of that from the top, but I just want to get it so that I can apply right along this edge, the side of the bark, if you will. And then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 350. And that looks like that'll be pretty easy. I'll bring it back here in a little bit and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. And then we'll go with shellac for a final finish. See you in a bit. I expect this to be quite beautiful. Quite a bit of pink showing through. Even before the sanding sealer's going on here. And this sanding sealer is called Zinsser Seal Coat. It's shellac based. And then I'll use Zinsser shellac as the final finish. But you don't have to. You can use any clear finish over this. I like this little flaw right here. As expected, it sanded up real nice. Quite smooth. I'll put on 2 coats of this sanding sealer and then 2 coats of shellac applied exactly the same way. Then I'll bring you back and we'll start working on the inside. See you in a bit. I have the piece turned around with the tenon mounted up in the chuck. We're going to be turning at 660 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. See, I can't get much closer than that right there. Yep, far enough. I stopped just in time. Take a look. So this side over here will be wider, and this will be somewhere in between the two probably. Pretty wood. Wait till you see the finish I got on the outside. Hopefully the inside will match it. It's beautiful. Wonder if I can pick the speed up any. No, about 680. You know, I'm going to go sharpen up. This was sharp when I started, but it's not. My sides are too thick here. So I'm just going to work on the sides for a bit and then we'll move back down to the bottom. About 3/8. I'm sure we're there. Yep, 1/4 inch. That's about 3/8 on the walls. It's thicker up here, but that's because I can't go any thinner. I'll get my negative rake scraper sharpened up and we'll scrape. Nice. Time for sanding. I really hope I'm picking up this video in the right spot. It's been about 3 days. I had a little injury. I don't know what I did to injure myself, but last time I was out here, I couldn't proceed. My left arm wouldn't cooperate. No strength, a lot of pain. I was just talking to Dave from Calmwood Creations about that today. And he gave me some encouraging words, so I thought, okay, I'll come out here and try this. I think I'm going to be able to do it. I can do this one-handed, my sandal flex, and I can raise my left arm up here to move the piece. I just can't use my left arm. I can't turn a doorknob, I can't hold my coffee cup, nothing like that. I don't know. I went and got a compression sleeve that goes all the way up here, and I think that's helping. I don't know. Like I say, it's been about 3 days. Anyway, I'm gonna give this a try because I really want to get this done, and then I can go edit the video, and then I've got something to do while I'm waiting for my arm to get better, because I haven't had anything to do for 3 days and it's driving me nuts. So I'm gonna give this a try. Like I said, I'm gonna start with my sander flex. I'm gonna sand all of the bark. I can only sand it from the inside towards the out. I can't sand it from the outside in because I'll ruin my beautiful finish on the outside of this. It's just flawless, and I want the same for the inside. Anyway, so I'll do that, and I can do that one-handed, but this one I have to use 2 hands, and I'm not sure that I can. This is my 2-inch disc. I'll start at 80 grit and work up through 400. And I'll give you a sample of what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. And I didn't tell you that so you'd feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me. I'm sure it's going to get better. So that's what that looks like. And then with the lathe spinning forward at about 350. Yay, I can do that. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing for a bit, and then I'll bring you back and we will put some sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. It's going to be beautiful. I did it. I got it done. That is a confidence booster, I'll tell you. Man, I thought I was done for. And it still hurts. It hurts plenty, but at least I can do it. I can do something. It's going to take a lot of work on the bark, which is one of the most important parts of this piece of wood. I have to be really careful not to go over that outside edge and get it on my already finished shellac surface out there. So it's going to take me quite a bit of time, and because I have to be so careful. And I won't ask you to watch all of it. That's going to be such a nice contrast with that bark all finished up against the beautiful grain of the wood. And that bark is nice and tight. No issues at all. So I'll be doing this for a while. And then I'll put on 2 coats of this sanding sealer. It's called Zinsser Seal Coat. It comes ready to use out of the can. I don't do anything to it at all. And then I'll put on 2 coats of Zinsser Shellac, also ready to use out of the can. And I will apply that shellac exactly like I'm doing here. A brush and a rag. I'll see you in a bit and we'll get that tenon off of there. Boy, do I feel better about it. See you in a bit. I've got my second coat of sanding sealer on here. I did this very same thing on the first coat. You can buy these gray 3M abrasive pads and you can buy white 3M abrasive pads. They come different thicknesses, they come different size sheets. You just have to take whatever they've got at the time. You can get them on eBay or Amazon or probably a million other places. So for years, the way I did this was I would fold the piece up to provide a little protection because of the kind of pieces I do. If you've got a perfectly round piece, you don't have to do this. But this provides a little padding. And then I would just turn on my lathe and I would just hold it and go over the piece like this. A lot of times what will happen when you do that, it works just fine. But a lot of times what will happen is you'll get a swirl mark in the middle in here. Then you have to, after you've done it all, then you have to come in here and go like this with the grain to get rid of that swirl mark. And sometimes you just can't get rid of that swirl mark. Okay, so I use the gray one between all coats of sanding sealer and all coats of shellac. Gray one. Then after the final coat of shellac, I use the white one, and that smooths it out really nice and even puts a shine on it. Then I discovered not long ago, 6 months ago or a little more, that if you cut a little circle out of those pads, they'll stick right onto your hook and loop disc like this, and you can use it just as if you were sanding. Now I'm going to turn the speed down. That was about 500. Now I'm going to turn it down to about 350. And just use it just like you're sanding. And it does a better job, faster, easier, and it does not leave swirl marks in the middle. So I think that is perhaps the best thing that I've ever learned. And I have them for the white as well. And I just cut them right out of the same sheet. This was, I don't know how big it was, 10 by 12 or something. So I've cut a couple of circles out of there. This was, looks like 4 by 12 or 4 by 10, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is far superior, easier and better. Do that, not this, and you'll be happy. And it just peels off. It just works just like Velcro. Slick. Back to putting on my finishes. I've got 2 coats of sanding sealer to go, or no, 2 coats of shellac to go, and I'll be back. I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck. I'm going to put a non-slip cloth over that and bring up the bowl. And bring up my tailstock. I still have the center hole there for reference, so I'll just drive my live center into that, and that'll help center the piece. Apply a little pressure, bring up my tool rest. I'm going to use a 3/8 inch standard grind bowl gouge. We'll spin the piece up. I'll hold my thumbnail against the edge of the tenon, make sure it's hitting equally all the way around, and it is. So we know we're well centered. I'll turn the speed up to about 600 RPM and commence to removing that tenon. I'll check for clearance. When we have clearance, I'll just keep working it away. And now that's pretty small, so I'm going to switch to a swept back bowl gouge. And I'm going to turn the speed down to about 400 RPM. I just need to get that a little bit smaller. And that's quite small, so I'm going to turn the speed down to about 200 RPM. And I'm going to apply the bevel of the gouge against the bottom of the bowl. Pressure towards the headstock. Right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch. And when that little nub stops turning, we'll know we're through. Or disintegrates, sometimes that happens. Now I'll just take this over here to the workbench, sand it up, sign it, get it finished, and I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share it around, that'd be terrific. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very kindly. Well, here it is. One Plum live edge bowl in the books. And it's just flawless. It's just flawless. Man, I love that bark. Very nice. There's the bottom all finished up. Plum always turns out so beautiful. And the colors in this are so vivid. Sure hope you enjoyed the video. Sure hope you liked the piece. Thank you, Tuffy Marginez, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I read all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.